Okay, morning everyone. I'm very happy here to show you some examples how to combine social text mining with social network analysis. So I'm not going to share a very concrete study, but a lot of studies. So it will be quite methodological, but I'm pretty sure that it will not be technical. Okay. So anyway, so text mining, as you can see, that now is actually it's one of the most popular computational methods in social science research, at least in communication research. There are different approaches and strategies, and one of the most commonly used strategy for text mining, using text mining in social science research, is that to use the text mining tools to develop and to measure some concepts in social science that will help to facilitate and scale up the conventional methods. Like traditionally, we usually use content analysis to annotate like the news media articles and also the social media posts as well. So the new techniques can just can facilitate and scale up these methods, and sometimes that we call it computer-assisted content analysis. That's the reason. And in addition to measure the existing concepts, but we can also sometimes to measure to develop some more innovative measures that if we use a conventional way, that it will be very hard and even impossible to measure that kind of concepts. So later I will show you some examples. Okay. In addition to to develop the tools for measures, but actually. I guess the second strategy that will be more important, that we can use text mining for analysis. That means we can develop formal models for hypothesis testing that will be sometimes crucial for social science research. And some examples including like the structural topic modeling that would develop naturally to incorporate some more covariates. So not just purely exploratory, but to try to incorporate some covariates which can predict the prevalence of the different topics associated with the different text features as well. So in addition to this kind of more mathematical models that we can compare, well, we can combine the text mining with other research designs like experiment designs to texture effects. So what I will focus on today, that is we can combine the text mining with another dominant computational method in social science, that is social network analysis. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a few examples. So this is a typical, the graph is like a social media platform. You can, this is exactly, this is Twitter, but you can understand that for many social media platforms with similar designs, there are different egos. That means the different users, and you can follow different authors, the followees, of friends on Facebook and whatever. So we can call this is an ego network. Within this ego network, with the tweets or the social media posts that are posted by the users, as well as the authors. So you can, based on the text, okay, the content is posted, you can measure different, you can develop different measures. So like information similarity that are commonly to compare like the timeline of ego one or with all the friends that follow. You can compare the text similarities to measure like the homophony and whatever else. Okay, so this is a straightforward, but I want to emphasize something that is less straightforward but more interesting. That actually, if you consider this is within a network, so we can consider we can measure another concept that will be useful at least for communication research. That is the information redundancy. So what is the information redundancy? For example, order 3. So if the posted a lot of tweets actually also posted by other users, so the information provided by order 3 that will be totally redundant in regards to this ego, okay, this user, ego 2. So when you measure the information similarity and redundancy, and you can incorporate it into other formal models that test the hypothesis. Okay, so in this article, actually, we found that the users are more, the egos are more likely to unfollow the users who posted redundant information, but less likely to unfollow the users who posted similar posts. That means they share a common interest. So naturally, actually, sorry. So the content redundancy is directly related to another concept in social network analysis is network redundancy. So here are two networks, as you can see, that have different structures. So this is what we call a non-redundant network, but this is what we call a redundant network. So what's the difference? The difference is here the orders of equal A that they don't follow, they have no connection with each other. But this one, as you can see, the author is the friend B3 that is share all of connections with other authors. So theoretically, in social network analysis, we consider that B3 is a redundant contact of ego B. The reason is that there is a big assumption in the past that I think that B3 will less likely to provide novel, innovative information, because that even you cut, even you cut the tie, the connection between the ego B and B3, you also have other ways to contact the B3 through other nodes. But here, as I just show you that using social media data, that you can actually exactly to measure the content redundancy for each followers, and you can just see, you can test the correlation to test the assumption that whether the network redundancy is really correlated with information redundancy. As you can see, indeed, even though the coefficient is it's small, but it's significantly correlated with the two. And also you can incorporate here in this article, you can relate it to the concepts with other variables, like here is the information diffusion, that to predict whether the ego B will retreat, will pass a message posted by the followees. Okay, another example. Okay, this is this is an example of how to measure, how to develop the text measures within a social network. But here, the next example is that actually we just ready to combine, to integrate the two approaches. Okay, this is what I call semantic network. This is about the discussions of US election many years ago, 9 years ago. Anyway, so in the semantic networks, the nodes are the core concepts. Okay, they're mentioned in the discussions on a political discussion forum. And the ages here just the concurrence. So if you use the two words together in one sentence, that will be a connection. And you can show the semantic networks over time, and you will find some trend. And actually, we calculate a network measure that homogeneity to measure that how likely, to what extent that the concepts are connected with each other. And you will find that actually the semantic network sometimes in social science, at least in communication, we can interpret it as a frame, interpretive framework, or sometimes we call common ground. And you will see that the modularity actually decline over time, which suggests that is a formation of a common ground. So we can even formalize a model to test the hypothesis whether a discussion will facilitate the formation of the common ground or common interpretive frameworks. So this is a co-evolution process. So there are user I and user J. So if user I discuss some of the topic with user J, and there is a connection. And if we know user I that is associated with a word association, which actually is the age in the semantic network, okay, here. So anyway, so if I discuss with J, I want to, if I is associated with this interpretive framework, and we want to test whether the discussion will facilitate the connection between J and A. So that means that to adopt this interpretive framework. So another process, sub-process, is that if the two users share some common interpretive frameworks, that whether they will discuss more about this issue. Okay, so we can formally model and get the results like this. And indeed, you can find that if you the users share some same interpretive frameworks, are more likely to talk with each other. And more importantly, if you talk with each other, then we're more likely to adopt the same interpretive framework. Okay, the last example, okay, as I just briefly mentioned, that we can combine with the experiment design. And this is something like topic modeling, but it's not topic modeling. So it's combined topic modeling with, actually it's like a supervised topic modeling. So this is about the textual effects of a consumer review. So first, we train the model, not train the model. We just use a topic-like model that to detect the different text features. So they are detected. Okay, a lot of predefined. There are different text features like you are running a topic modeling. But at the same time, when you detect the topic models, when they detect the different topics, at the same time, you also consider the response variable, which here is the trustworthiness. And then you can calculate the causal effect of the different text features. For example, okay, so this is about what consumer review. Okay, you will see that a call complaint that will actually has a very large effect, negative effect. That means that if you see some reviews about the hotel, or I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that this is about hotel review. So if you see the call complaint that like call the manager or whatever, so actually the readers are less likely to trust this kind of review, but instead, so if you see a lot of the comments, the reviews describing the room conditions, that the readers are more likely to trust those kind of comments. Okay, so several takeaway messages. So the text mining is not just the computer-assisted content analysis, it's not just to replace the conventional content analysis. It's not just the classification you can provide to help you to develop new measures as well. So it's not just the measures. In empirical research, you can just formally model it. Okay, it's not just for prediction, but you can also incorporate it with other research design to infer the core relationships as well. So it depends on how researchers use the tools and how to interpret the results. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. This is my email, and this is my personal website. If you want to read the articles, you can always download it from my personal website. Thank you.